to make the base, you will need this stack. You're going to need 2 pieces of chipboard that are 6 by 8, 2 pieces of chipboard that are 5.5 by 8, and 2 pieces of chipboard that are 3/4 by 8. You need 2 pieces of cardstock that are 8 by 10, 2 pieces that are 7.5 by 10, 2 pieces that are 3 3/4 by 10, 2 pieces that are 4.5 by 8, 2 pieces that are 3 5/8 by 9 1/4, two pieces that are 4.5 by 7 7/8. One thing I did forget to add, you will need to keep your pattern paper close at hand, because there is one place on both sides where you will be adding pattern paper to a few things before you can continue putting everything together. So we will be putting, let's do it this way. We will be putting our chipboard pieces on our cardstock. So your 6 by 8 chipboards go on your 8 by 10 cardstocks. Your 5.5 by 8 chipboards go on your 7.5 by 10 cardstocks, and your 3/4 by 8 chipboards go on your 3 3/4 by 10 chipboard cardstocks. So this is my 8 by 10, so I need one of my 6 by 8s. I need this one. And this is fairly simple. On the 6 by 8 and 5.5 by 8 chipboard pieces, you have 1 inch going around the edge. So I just have a 1 inch corner measuring tool here. And I'm just going to line that up. All corners lining up just like this, and sticking that down. Have my next 6 by 8. And you don't have to have rulers if you don't want. You can just eyeball it, but it makes it a lot easier to have rulers to help line everything up. So I have my 7.5 by 10 inch cardstock. So that means I need my 5.5 by 8 inch chipboard piece, or one of them. Sorry if you hear my dogs in the background. They're crazy. Anything that happens outside, they will bark at. Especially the big one. She Dakota, shut up! So the 4 large pieces are done. I have the chipboard on the cardstock, and now I have one of my 3 3/4 by 10 inch pieces here, and I changed out my little ruler to my 1 by 1.5. So top and bottom, 1 inch spacing, and then the 2 sides are going to be 1.5 inch spacing. Then I have my 3/4 by 8 inch piece here. I'm just going to carefully line it up, trying not to twist it out in a weird angle because it is pretty thin. I'm going to grab my second piece here and add my last piece of chipboard on top. Like so. Now to fold all of these to get them prepped to put the outside together, I like to use a burnishing tool and a bone folder. Just going to burnish the cardstock on the chipboard. Oops. Careful not to slide it around. Just burnish it really good to get everything to stick. I'm going to fold on all 4 sides, and then go on the cardstock side and just burnish on all 4 edges of the chipboard. And I'm going to do that to all 6 of my pieces. So when that's done, I'm going to come back and show you the next step. Now that we have all our pieces burnished, it's time to get them prepped. So I'm going to start with the 2 spine pieces. All I'm going to do is just cut from corner to corner here. Let me show you really quick where I'm cutting. So you have these lines that you made as you crease the paper around your chipboard. You want to cut from this corner to this corner, just like that. And you're going to do that to all 4 corners. Then I'm going to put a little bit of score tape on the top and bottom sides. So that's the 2 1-inch sides. And I like removing the backing of all of my score tape just to make things go a little quicker for myself. I'm going to add glue to the sides of the chipboard and then along the 1-inch tab. Try not to get glue on my mat. Just like that. And then I'm going to take my burnishing tool and burnish it really good. Stick that on the chipboard, and then I'm going to just run across the chipboard just like this, both sides with my bone folder, and then I can push the cardstock on top of itself to get the rest of the cardstock stuck together. So then it looks like this. And now I'm going to do that to the second side. And if you get glue seeping out, that is good, because that means you added a lot of glue and it's sticking, which is what you want. So now you have something that looks like this. Now I'm going to take my scissors, and at the point, at the corner of my chipboard, I'm going to make a small angle from the chipboard, from the corner of the chipboard, like that. So I kind of make an X as I'm cutting, and I'm just taking a small triangle out of the corners. So it looks like this. And I did take a little bit more off of this corner than I really wanted to, but that's okay because I will be adding cardstock or pattern paper and other stuff on top, so it's gonna be sturdy once it's all put together. And then I'm going to go back over the 4 corners, burnish them really good, and then come back with some score tape, and I'm going to put my score tape 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch away from the chipboard edge. So I'm putting this just along my cardstock here. And I have some spacing here, and it's about 1/4 of an inch away. And that is so that your album closes without having any issues, and you don't see the score tape when you close it. So now my first spine is ready, and I'm going to show you how to do the 4 larger pieces. So with these, I'm just going to cut at an angle and then cut straight to the corner of the chipboard and take out the corner so that it looks like this. And I'm going to do that to all 4 corners here. And then you'll have something that looks like this. I'm gonna add some score tape to all 4 corners, or all 4 sides. And then after that's done, again, just take the backings off to make things go a little bit quicker. Maybe. There we go. And I have, oh. Okay. So I'm going to start on the longer sides and then do the top and bottom, the short sides. Sorry about my dog again. We have been receiving packages, and she likes to bark at the delivery drivers. So, I'm gonna add glue to along the edge of my chipboard, and then burnish the cardstock on the chipboard, and then push along there and burnish. And do the same to this side. And then the top and bottom. So then it'll look like this. And I like to flip my piece around and kind of check to see if there's any place that has cardstock kind of peeking out from behind. And if there is, I just kind of carefully snip a little bit off. Just makes it a little bit more professional. So I'm going to really quick do the same to these, and then we can put it together. So there is one more thing that we have to make before we can put the outer part together, and that is the curved spine. That's this piece right here. So you will need your two 4.5 by 8-inch pieces, and you are just going to glue them together. I already do that. I use some score tape and glue just to make sure that it's sturdy and it won't come apart. So you want to get your scoreboard out. And with the 4.5 inches at the top, you're going to score at 1 inch, 1 1/4, 1 1/2, 1 3/4, 2 inches, 2 1/4, oops, 2 1/2, 2 3/4, 3, 3 1/4, and 3 1/2. And that will give you a nice rounded spacing for your spine. So I'm just going to carefully burnish all of these score marks that I made. And if you're not getting them how you want, you might need to score a couple more times to get the score mark through everything. But just take your time and get to how you like. So once it's all burnished, you have a nice curved spine. And I am going to go on this side so the curve is going like this. And I'm going to put score tape on either side of, actually, let's use smaller score tape. Gonna put score tape on both of my 1 inch spaces here. And now we're ready to put everything together. So I'm going to take my scoreboard and turn it on its side. And then we need one of the 5.5 inch pieces to start. So I have my 5.5 in the bottom corner, and then I'm going to take my first spine here, and I'm going to add glue on my score tape and on the edge of the cardstock. You don't want to put any glue close to the chipboard. So then I'm going to take this, line up my chipboard against my chipboard like this, and I'm going to lightly stick it down. I shifted a little bit. And lightly stick it down, and then when I fold it, I want to make sure that they're lined up. So, like this. The edges are lined up. And if it's not lined up, you can always peel it up carefully and then stick it back down. But I'm happy with this, so it's stuck down. And then I'm going to take one of my 6-inch pieces and stick it on this side. Really quick, I'm going to write top on here just to know where my top is. And then I'm going to put my 6-inch piece on, one of them. And then burnish this down. And now I'm going to take my curved spine, I'm going to take this, remove one of the backings, and add glue. And I put the score tape and glue about 1/4 to 1/8 inch away from the score mark, just like my spines, because it basically acts the same way. And I'm going to fold this on the score mark and line it up with the edge of the chipboard piece as fast as I can. Like this. And then I'm going to burnish this down really well. And now I have a curved spine. So now I can take my second 6-inch piece and add that to the other side of my curved spine here. Lining it up as best as I can, and then I can stick it down and then grab the second 3/4 inch spine And we are going to add this to our 6-inch piece. And then our 5.5-inch piece. And now we have a folio. So it's 5.5, 3/4, 6, curved spine, 6, 3 3/4, 5.5. And then just fold the 5.5s in, and then you can close the whole thing. Now we are going to take our two 4.5 by 7 7/8 inch pieces, and I'm going to quickly add some score tape. So these two pieces are going to go over our 3/4 inch spines. So I'm just removing the backing of my double-sided adhesive, and then just adding a little bit of glue to the top. I'm going to take this and do my best to center this on the spine and then stick it down. Then I can take my bone folder and run it along both sides of my spine and carefully fold so that my folio can close properly. And then I'm going to flip it around and do this side. it as best as I can. Stick it down, and then I can burnish my spine. There. Now this is prepped. Gonna set this aside for now.